Galen Strawson's View of Panpsychism by Dave Marsland of Cardiff Theosophical Society. Galen Strawson, a prominent philosopher and professor at the University of Texas, is widely recognised for his unique perspective on panpsychism. Born in 1952, Strawson has made significant contributions to the field of philosophy of mind and consciousness. He earned his doctorate from the University College London and has since held academic positions at various prestigious institutions, including the University of Oxford. Strawson's work revolves around the idea that consciousness is not exclusive to humans or animals, but rather a fundamental property of all matter in the universe. His groundbreaking views have sparked extensive debates and discussions within philosophical circles, making him an influential figure in contemporary philosophy. Panpsychism is a philosophical theory that posits the idea that consciousness is a fundamental and ubiquitous feature of the universe. It suggests that all things, from inanimate objects to living organisms, possess some form of consciousness or mind. Galen Strawson has contributed significantly to the discussion of panpsychism, offering a unique perspective on the nature of consciousness and its relationship to the physical world. Blavatskyan Theosophy has always maintained that everything in the universe has consciousness and that a divine consciousness created and guides the universe. Galen Strawson is known for his work in philosophy of mind and metaphysics, and his perspective on panpsychism is deeply rooted in his broader philosophical framework. At the core of Strawson's view is the idea that consciousness is a fundamental aspect of reality and that it cannot be reduced to or explained solely in terms of physical processes. He argues that consciousness is a primitive feature of the universe, meaning that it is irreducible and cannot be explained in terms of anything more fundamental. Strawson's view of panpsychism can be understood as a form of non-dualistic monism, which holds that the mental and the physical are ultimately inseparable and that they both constitute the fundamental nature of reality. This stands in contrast to dualistic views that posit a fundamental distinction between mind and matter. For Strawson, panpsychism offers a way to reconcile the subjective nature of consciousness with the objective nature of the physical world, avoiding the pitfalls of both dualism and materialism. Strawson's panpsychism is characterized by several key tenets that underpin his perspective on the nature of consciousness and its relationship to the physical world. These tenets provide a framework for understanding his arguments in support of panpsychism and the implications of his view for our broader understanding of the mind and the universe. 1. Panexperientialism. At the heart of Strawson's panpsychism is the idea that all things, not just living beings, have some form of experience or consciousness. This panexperientialist view suggests that even inanimate objects such as rocks or atoms possess some level of subjective experience. This is a radical departure from traditional views of consciousness, which have typically been associated only with complex biological organisms. 2. Neutral monism. Strawson's panpsychism can be seen as a form of neutral monism, which holds that mental and the physical are two aspects of a more fundamental substance or reality. In this view, consciousness and the physical world are not separate ontological categories, but rather different ways of describing or experiencing the same underlying reality. This perspective allows for a more integrated understanding of the mind-body relationship, avoiding the need for dualistic or reductionistic explanations. 3. Existence of consciousness. One of the central tenets of Strawson's panpsychism is the assertion that consciousness is a fundamental feature of the universe, existing independently of the specific forms it may take in individual beings. This view challenges traditional materialist perspectives that seek to explain consciousness solely in terms of physical processes, suggesting instead that consciousness is a fundamental aspect of reality that cannot be reduced to or explained in terms of anything else. Arguments in support of panpsychism. Strawson presents several arguments in support of his panpsychist view, drawing both on philosophical reasoning and empirical evidence to bolster his position. These arguments provide a foundation for understanding the plausibility and coherence of his perspective, and they offer insights into the broader implications of panpsychism for our understanding of the mind and the universe. 1. The combination problem. One of the central challenges for any theory of consciousness, including panpsychism, is the so-called combination problem. This problem arises from the question of how individual units of consciousness, such as those posited by panpsychism, can combine to form the unified and integrated conscious experiences that we as humans possess. Strawson addresses this problem by suggesting that the combination of individual units of consciousness is a fundamental aspect of the nature of reality, and that it does not require any additional or mysterious mechanisms to account for. 2. The unity of consciousness. Another argument in support of panpsychism is based on the unity of consciousness, which refers to the seamless and integrated nature of our conscious experiences. Critics of panpsychism have raised concerns about how the unity of consciousness can be reconciled with the idea of consciousness as a fundamental and ubiquitous feature of the universe. Strawson responds to this challenge by proposing that the unity of consciousness is a result of the integration and combination of individual units of consciousness, and that this process is a fundamental aspect of the nature of reality. 3. Empirical evidence. While much of the support for panpsychism comes from philosophical reasoning, there is also a growing body of empirical evidence that can be seen as supportive of this perspective. For example, research in the field of quantum physics has raised questions about the nature of reality and the role of consciousness in shaping our understanding of the physical world. Strawson draws on these developments to argue that panpsychism provides a more coherent and comprehensive framework for understanding the relationship between consciousness and the physical world, and that it is consistent with the emerging findings from scientific research. The implications of panpsychism. The implications of Galen Strawson's view of panpsychism are far-reaching, extending to our understanding of the mind, the nature of reality, and the ethical and existential questions that arise from this perspective. By examining the implications of panpsychism, we can gain insights into the potential significance and relevance of this perspective for broader philosophical and scientific enquiries. 1. Mind-body relationship. One of the key implications of panpsychism is its impact on our understanding of the mind-body relationship. By positing that consciousness is a fundamental and ubiquitous feature of the universe, panpsychism challenges traditional dualistic and materialistic views that seek to separate the mental and the physical. This perspective suggests that the mind and the body are deeply interconnected, and that they both constitute essential aspects of the nature of reality, offering a more integrated and holistic understanding of the mind-body relationship. 2. Ethics and agency. Panpsychism also has implications for our understanding of ethics and agency, as it suggests that consciousness is not limited to human beings or other living organisms. If all things possess some form of consciousness, then this has implications for how we perceive and interact with the world around us. It raises questions about the responsibilities that come with recognizing the potential for consciousness in all things. Additionally, panpsychism challenges traditional notions of agency and autonomy, suggesting that consciousness is a more pervasive and interconnected aspect of reality than previously thought by mainstream science. 3. Metaphysical significance. From a broader metaphysical perspective, panpsychism has implications for our understanding of the nature of reality and the fundamental principles that govern the universe. By positing that consciousness is a fundamental aspect of the universe, panpsychism challenges traditional views of materialism and dualism, offering a more integrated and comprehensive framework for understanding the nature of reality. This perspective opens up new avenues for exploring the connections between consciousness, the physical world, and the underlying principles that shape our understanding of the universe. In conclusion, Galen Strawson's view of panpsychism offers a unique and thought-provoking perspective on the nature of consciousness and its relationship to the physical world. His panpsychist view is characterized by the idea that consciousness is a fundamental and ubiquitous feature of the universe, and that it cannot be reduced to or explained solely in terms of physical processes. Strawson presents several arguments in support of panpsychism, drawing on both philosophical reasoning and empirical evidence to bolster his position. The implications of panpsychism are far-reaching, extending to our understanding of the mind, the nature of reality, and the ethical and existential questions that arise from this perspective. By examining the key tenets of Strawson's panpsychism, the arguments he presents in support of it, and the implications of his perspective, we can gain a deeper understanding of the significance and relevance of panpsychism for broader philosophical and scientific enquiries.